And we are live, WrestlePurists Worldwide, hosted by myself, Ibu, better known to some of you as Backup Hangman, and Joe Hulbert. And today, we are going to do a little bit of a weekend recap and, of course, cover the big news over the weekend, the past couple of days, that Vince McMahon has been booted off the WWE creative by Endeavor CEO Ari Emanuel, as reports say, anyway. But first things first, please like, subscribe, send super chats with any questions, any takes that you want us to read out. We'll get them read out as soon as we can. Turn on post notifications. Hope everyone's doing good, especially my fellow co-hosts. Joe Hulbert, nice shirt, as usual. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm happy to be here. Still reeling from the Raw Quest event I attended on Saturday night. Triumphant evening indeed. It was a little much the way I was kind of sworn when I got in the building. I thought it was a little unnecessary. So if anyone was part of that, I feel like you could regret that. I understand it's a big deal when a podcast is in the building at a wrestling show, but nonetheless, I enjoyed it, what I saw of it. Tangaloa is back, and so am I. Here we go, worldwide.
Got to see Eddie Kingston in the copper box, you know.
Brother,
Big business.
That was a different deal right there. That was like genuinely wild. I mean, you knew it was going to be over.
Mm-hmm.
But like they had the shitty, sound. It was Paul Michael Oku's theme playing, and they drowned out the theme with Eddie chants. It was wild in the building. Anyone who was there can vouch. Like it was crazy loud to him. It was a really cool experience. In all seriousness,
the people love Eddie. He's the people's champ. You know, captured many hearts. But anyway, Ibu, Backup Hangman, how was your weekend?
It's pretty okay. I lent my cousin some money, right? I've been lending him some money. And he was on some like, yo, thank you, bro. Like, I'm going to pay you back, Cuddy, for real. Like, no funny shit. I got you, cuz. And I'm like, yeah, no problem. Because, I'm a charitable individual. And he was on some like, yo, I'm dead hungry, bro. Like, I don't got anything in my account. I was almost driven to tears. I was like, what happened, man? Sent them money, all this. I've been doing that for a little bit. Come to see, I opened Instagram, Monty, yesterday. This is a real story. He's flexing $20,000 in his hands. I was like,
use that for a bet, bro. The parlay hit.
I was like, what? So of course I replied to the story, and I did the subtle thing. I wrote like damn, like laugh emoji. And then the man said,
I can't deal with people these days. Just asking for your money, bro. You know, you gotta be subtle. It's family, you know.
No, he said, yeah, bro, God is good. He said, I got you, though, Cuddy. I'm gonna send you 100. So I went to cash out the check just to count how much I'm actually owed, and I was like, this is far over $100, buddy. But
oh my God.
That aside, me trying to track down my money aside, I'm doing pretty good. It was a pretty cool weekend of wrestling. I watched a lot of good stuff. And I'm happy to get into all of it on Worldwide because we're a very versatile podcast where we can talk a little bit of everything.
Yeah, man.
One more thing. Thank everybody for supporting WrestlePurists Face Off last night. Rob filled in for AO, and I thought we had a very fun show. It did very well, and we had some interesting discussion where Rob and me debating Edge and CM Punk devolved into metrics versus subjectivity. So that was fun. Joe, did you hear those soundbite, Joe? I
did not. Which side of that was the Edge side? I'm intrigued.
No comment, but I'm going to say this. I started screaming. At some point. It's a fake sport. It's a subjective entertainment medium.
I'm going to have to check it out. Let's check this out.
Thank you so much for supporting Face Off, guys.
Yeah, the heated debate show of WrestlePurists, you know. I'll stay away from it, you know. I don't want the corn, brother. I don't want it. You know, man. I'm unproblematic, unbiased. You know, very level-headed. You know. Anyway, before we dive in, let's read some of these super chats. And it wouldn't be a WrestlePurists podcast if Zaid Nadir didn't send first super chat with $4.99. God bless.
Such a beast.
As always. Ibu, I too fell to my knees during Roman vs. Cody stare down. All red times 1000. I'm now confident it will go down WrestleMania 40 with Codeman W. Reward hard work and success.
Bro, listen to me. when Cody was just walking up the ramp after dapping up some kids in the front row like he usually does, and then all you hear is do 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 do, and Cody. The thing is, Cody's face goes from, you gotta watch it. It's understated. It goes from this like satisfied smile, like, yeah, I'm Cody, I'm the ace. I just dapped some kids up. Good win, Jay. Yeet, high five. Roman's theme hits, and it's like something triggered in his brain. Like he was like, oh shit, you know.
Jay as well, bro.
And I'll point this out quickly. In the recent weeks of TV, Cody said that we're not in the third inning anymore on a Raw, and then Michael Cole was interviewing him this week on Raw, and he was like, this is nice that you're a tag champ, but when are you going to finish the story? And are you afraid to even do it again? Are you afraid of failure? And Cody, he looked kind of like hesitant and never got a chance to answer the question. So we're going full steam ahead. We're building this Mania main event in November, and I'm all for it, baby.
That's real grabs, man. For real.
That's real grabs. That's the only match that matters, and they're going to set it up now.
Friday, like I didn't watch that segment live. I was already asleep celebrating the Nick Aldis thing. But once I saw that segment, it was the first time I'd allowed myself to to believe in this rematch, because I've spent like 6 months just thinking, there's no way they can recapture what they had in LA. That match was going so great.
Yeah.
I couldn't talk myself into it. And that one stare down, I was like, fuck it, man, they might be able to do this shit. This may be special, you know? So I'm kind of in. I'm all in. I'm ready to go. Let's go WrestleMania, boys.
That's the thing, Joe. My whole thing was like, what are you going to do? And the one opening that I gave myself was that the build to Roman and Cody actually wasn't that like, it wasn't
that expansive at all.
Yeah, it was very
Mm-hmm.
stripped back. Like once we got Sammy out of the way and it was just Cody Roman, very stripped back. It was very like pleasant interactions where Cody's like, I respect you, Roman, but I'm gonna beat you, and Roman just kind of like, who are you, man? I'm gonna smoke you at Mania. Like, it's very stripped back, very regular segments. And now they're doing this like interconnected fucking 2-show story arc with Jay and Cody and the Usos and Roman and shit. So yeah, man. I mean, the fact that they've sown seeds in September and they've been building this week by week subtly, and now we got to stare down in, I said November. We're in October actually. So we'll see, man. Maybe they do successfully make this feel like just the biggest mega fight come next April.
I'm pretty hopeful right now, legitimately.
Yeah.
That stare down being any indicator definitely gives you a lot to be optimistic about, doesn't it? So you know,
they're doing it, man, for sure.
I talked to someone in the company about the stare down, and they said, well, a season premiere should give you a preview of the season finale. And that kind of popped me. I can't lie. I shamelessly pumped my fist.
You talked to Eric Bischoff? That's crazy, bro.
the ultimate wrestling is a TV show guy. You know, that's something he would say on his fucking, what's the name of his new show? Like, what's it called?
83 Week.
Strictly Business.
Strictly business.
Shout out John Alba.
I thought I thought it was tremendous. I mean, you gotta. You gotta give him a preview of the season finale on the season premiere. You know, like, he would say.
We should get John Alba on to tell Eric Bischoff stories. You know,
we should get Eric Bischoff on.
Both.
I'm game. But yeah, Cody, Roman, stare down was everything I could have wanted it to be. You know, feels big. When Roman's music hit, as Ibu done a great impression of, the arena just changed, and it was just, you know, big time, fellas. It's got to be
Thanos walking through a portal, man. You know? It's Thanos walking through a portal, man. It's like, oh, all right.
Zed 91.99, appreciate you. Need 2021 Kenny, not Xanax Omega, for love of the game. Xanax Omega is quite spiteful.
It would have been catchy if you just said Zanny Omega.
Yeah. Well,
let's not workshop these things, but
don't do drugs, kids. You know, we don't endorse any of that.
Want to be on the show?
Yeah, man. Kenny Omega. Well, he's wrestling a singles match this Wednesday, so it's a start.
Yes, he is.
Yeah. So Again, it's a start. Mazfan 84 199. Appreciate you as always. Shingo's lariats sound like muffled shotgun blasts.
Oh my god, he had 2 pumping bombers that like.
And I'm telling you, man, it sounded great. It did not do justice what it just sounded like in the building. It was
Really?
disgusting. Yeah, honestly, it was gross.
That last one was like one of the greatest lariats I've ever seen. I was like, my god.
It was like this. Raw Quest was my mum's first wrestling show, which was a very fun experience, obviously. And like she was enjoying it just as a show because there's all these multi-man tags and so on and so forth. And then that match came on, and like you realize how much of a sicko you are for liking wrestling when you see stuff like that, you know? She's like covering her eyes as these fellas just fucking clobber each other, and I'm sitting there like this, pumping my fists.
Joe,
it was unbelievable, man.
Joe, that was me Saturday night because I went back and watched because Parker never seen the match and watched it live on a space. It was Eddie versus JBL, the Bloodbath at Judgment Day, 04. Oh. I went back and watched that, and like Eddie will not stop bleeding. You literally see it pouring like it's like you're pouring water, like it's just flowing. And like I'm like, I literally audibly go, "That's nasty," and then go, "Ah, let's go!" and Joe, at some Eddie's just getting destroyed, right? But then like he has this blood all over his body, and at some point in the match, I kept saying to Parker, I'm like, because I haven't seen the match in years, right? I'm like, I need him to fire up while he's bleeding. While he has this visual, right? And then Eddie does the thing where he's just like, "Come on, that's it, come on," and he's like pumping he's beating his chest while he has blood, and I'm like going, oh my god, I'm pumping my fist. It's the best. Bring back blood. Blood is good. If you don't like blood, you're a loser.
Listen, that was a reaction I was having when Kevin Owens got colour at fucking what show even was he now?
Payback
or some shit.
Because KO did that, Cody, the pressure's on you. I don't give a shit. You got to bleed at War Games. You got to find a way.
War Games needs blood, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. It's fun to find a way to fucking bleed you. Like, you know, come on.
Do it justice, you know. Darren Walker, £5. Appreciate you as always. Nick Aldis debuts on SmackDown. That's the biggest wrestling story of the week. Huge story, huge news. New SmackDown general manager, Nick Aldis. Great introduction. He just appeared. Out of nowhere.
I'll save my full comments for when we go glance over SmackDown. But yeah, man, shout out Nick Aldis, you know.
Yeah, we'll get into it more. Yeah, it's very funny.
We're gonna have a Nick Aldis segment. Don't worry.
Darren Walker, £5 again. Appreciate you. Enjoyed Royal Quest. Even got to talk to Will Ospreay and get a picture at the end of the show. I did not see Joe or Charlie, which was a shame. Oh, you didn't.
See, the way I've read that,
see the big stars.
Yeah, the way I've read that is it's one thing to meet with old Billy Oz up there when he's. After his 28-minute
5-star matches and his
and that's all well and good, but when you got some real stars like Charlie and myself in the building, I'm like Batman at those shows. The fact people saw me in America was disgusting. I've never been spotted at a UK show, and I don't intend to change that. I get out of there as soon as it ends. I'm out there,
Joe, you know what I gotta say? I'm the same way. I'm really good at hiding in plain sight at wrestling shows. Like I do this thing. You see how Monty's wearing his hat? Monty, take the brim of your hat and pull it down. That's me at wrestling shows.
It's like a baseball scout.
Yeah, that's me at a wrestling show. and when we were just coming out of the pandemic, I had it low like that with the mask, motherfucker.
Incognito. Yeah, hope you had a good time, Darren.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Hopefully next time you get to meet the big ones, Will Chisholm, $5. Appreciate it. I'm not going to lie, when Roman and Cody went face to face, me and my 4-year-old brother?
Oh, I was like...
Daughter. Yeah, I reckon his daughter. Me and my 4-year-old daughter started pumping our fists. That's real graps, bro.
The game we love.
Joe,
it is, exactly.
It really hit me all in the moment, because I'm watching the SmackDown show. I'm like, this is an all right show. And then, like, that happened. I'm like, this is all that matters. Fuck it. Like, whatever. Like, it just... I immediately started screaming, like, broad strokes, baby. Broad strokes. It's about the destination. After I just plugged in, like, 1 star into my spreadsheet for, Bailey versus Zelina Vega. Roman and Cody's there now, so who gives a shit,
It's good shit, bro.
LA Knight in a 7-minute nerve hold, you know.
Crowd's coming up for it. That's the magic, brother.
In a nerve hold, reverses it into like a backdrop suplex, and then you hear this.
If you think this bit is fun now, wait until they restart these Saturday night main event shows at some point next year. Whenever that deal kicks in, you get some like LA Night, Saturday night's main event show closer that goes like 12 minutes, and he does 2 moves. Like,
oh my god, they're doing that, right? Like they're actually doing NBC specials.
They're doing, I mean, I don't think they said that. I mean, if you're doing an NBC special, it kind of has to be Saturday night's main event, right? It's like,
man, Joe, we're gonna.
It could get nasty, folks.
Our show, when they do like some Cody-led 8-man tags and shit, you know. And the thing is, because of tradition, they're gonna have to do the cold open promos to the screen, like.
Well, good job, CM Punk's coming in, isn't it?
Yeah. Punk's gonna be saying like, "This is what Collision should have been," you know.
I'm not saying it's a good idea, but I am saying that they should get Jesse the Body Ventura to do color commentary on one of these matches.
Hold on.
Let me tell you something, Michael Cole.
Bro, Jesse the Body doing an LA Night match is like something that I've done on TW certainly at some point in my life. I must have.
Probably.
All you hear is like fucking Corey Graves going like he can't stop Big Bronson Reed, Jesse, and he's just like, well, he's $1 million megastar, Corey.
Anyway, we'll look forward to that when it happens. Bod the Builder, $2 Canadian. How much for Ibu to sing cool with personality?
I'll do it for $30.
That's a start of the week Monday special pro short there, because normally singing on the WrestlePurists channel costs you $50, so $30 for Ibu to sing cool with personality. I don't know when at the end.
I guess.
LTK Reaper, $1.99. Appreciate you. Fuck it. I'll say USA Network's best in the world. Replied partner.
Did you see this, Joe?
I did not, mate. No.
So WWE posted Nakamura's GTS for Monday and captioned it, "Nakamura did a GTS," and then USA Network replied on Instagram, "Best in the world." And then Monty posted a screenshot and was just kind of like, "Well, hold on." And then USA Network replied to Monty with a coy gif from The Office.
Mr. Michael Scott.
Yes.
Giving it one of them.
Yeah, he's like...
Now, that I assume that's just like a social media intern popping themselves, right? Because like USA Network account.
Yeah,
I don't know if they get
of course what it is. They don't know what's going on.
I'm making sure I'm not misreading this. I didn't want to be like an asshole about it, you know.
I will say 3 years ago, before Edge's debut, they were doing some like, on this day we see clearly. They're doing that type of shit.
Oh, but Jesus.
Listen, all I know is it could just be some jackass behind the account reading the scoops that we read, or it could be a little bit of needling. Who knows? Who knows?
Wishful thinking, I think that is.
I'll tell you this much. You know what's funny? In AEW, a talent high up in AEW, I just kind of was talking to them about like the recent reporting on AEW about CM Punk, and this person was convinced that the sheets are being worked, and I was like, they're not getting worked, probably not. And he was like, bro, they're getting worked, and I'm like, but I guess we'll see. Have you been seeing the Punk fans taking credit for the Survivor Series ticket sales? They were like, Joe, they said
going to sell out anyway.
Another sellout in Chicago off a rumor. I was like, all right.
That is beast. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
that's
it
really
kind of is. To be,
That's a really good
Punk
bit.
should say it in his first promo.
Joe, what makes
Did it again.
Joe, 12,000 of those seats were moved in the first weekend.
Of course, they sell out like every week now. That's why it's funny.
Raw has like 10K like nearly every week, so
I might start doing that.
I need Phil to come just so he can be in sold out venues again and just be like, another sellout. One bill, Phil. I did it again. You know.
Will Chisholm, $5. It's gonna be nasty when we hear reports of Vince mad as hell he can't book shows now.
He's already mad as hell.
And I don't think that'll be stuff that gets reported too often. He's just going to be mad at home,
He's already mad as fuck, bro. I got told this, and I checked, and I asked around, and I think I was able to cross confirm this with SRS, bro. Fucking the word is Vince's stance is like, if I knew Ari was going to do this to me, I wouldn't have sold to him. I'm like, get fucked.
I think it rules so much that, like, these established wrestling manipulators get around some real manipulators and just get the shit. Like, Vince is now
Nick Khan, Ari.
like, it's so over. Like, it's one thing to work, Michael Pierce, Hayes, or whoever the fuck, but like, no, man, the game's changed now. It seems like so.
Bro, someone pointed out, like, Vince, like, he's only like wrestling successful. And so anytime he thinks, like you said, anytime he thinks he's real and starts to, play with the big boys, like, they just whip his ass.
Yeah.
He's there thinking like, look at
That's real grap, so
He's also like way washed too. Dude doesn't know what's going on anymore, so that's part of it.
He's 80, and this fucker thinks, I'll sell it to this guy, and then I'll get back in creative. And then Ari's like 2 weeks, and he's like, brother, it's a wrap.
It is gonna be crazy what he comes up with when he buys the NWA. Like him and Billy Corgan just talking graps, trying to figure out what to do is gonna be.
He looks at like his funds and his assets, and he's like, all right, I'll put $12 million in this project. We'll go big time with big stars. Monty, really consider this a Vince McMahon bankrolled promotion where he goes full like 2021, 2022 with what he was doing with where everyone had like the most stupid gimmicks, but like with talent that's far like less good.
Yeah, like indie shitters.
You're Vince being deeply depressed that like nobody is 6 foot tall. He's just like,
you just hire a bunch of bodybuilders again, brother.
Oh my god.
You could get nasty if that happened, Monty. You may get.
The thing is,
you may get lured into the trap.
You may
get. I'm gonna lie, bro.
Yeah, Monty would absolutely watch a Vince-led federation with bodybuilders posing as wrestlers with like fake names and fake gimmicks.
Well, no, let's be honest. This is not out. We would all take a glance at it.
Yeah, you gotta do. Yeah, you gotta be a real sicko and check these things out.
Well, within a week, Vince Russo's gonna offer to book it, right?
He does that every week now, and it doesn't exist yet.
At Tony Khan, look, bro, this is your last offer, bro. I'm trying to help.
I like when he does the bit about like, you don't need to pay me, bro. All right, man. Sure. That's what you're looking for. All right, cool.
Can you, man? Does he think Tony's sitting in that room like,
yes, he does.
Houses are down. Maybe we need Vince Russo. Like that's not a thing that's happening.
Russo definitely does think that bookers around the globe think that of him,
Maybe we should bring him in.
I don't know. Ibu, it looks like you're singing, brother.
No.
Oh
no.
You should have named a higher price. It's your own fault.
There's no way I ever naming a price, let alone $30.
So yeah, at the end of the show, Ibu will be singing Cool Personality. Jordan Henderson, $10.
God damn.
Who else is excited for Crown Jewel? Mysterio and Paul, Knight and Reign show the candidate for sure in Saudi Arabia who continue to influence.
That is nasty business, bro.
He's sports washing,
Did you see the Logan Paul Ray angle, Joe Holbert?
I did, yeah. I saw more of that than I'm proud to admit, to be honest. That whole catastrophe that took place on Saturday.
Rey Mysterio was on Ariel Helwani's MMA hour, and he's just kind of like, if Logan Paul wants to go face to face with me, I mean, I'm on SmackDown. We can do it this Friday.
His voice is so funny now.
Yeah. I was wondering like the other day, I'm like, did he always sound like that? And the answer is no. No, he did not. He did not sound like this.
He's done some things that made him sound that way, and we love Ray Jr. and we'll leave it at that. Carry on, Money.
99 Ray's is kind of like, the filthy animals are in the building. Hooty-ho! And like now he's
man, it's been a long road.
He's grizzled,
Yeah.
Dominic, I'm your father, Dominic, okay? You're gonna listen to me. All right, the judgment day isn't right for you, Dominic. Pero siempre se lo
he really is one of my favorite wrestlers ever.
Logan Paul, you keep running your mouth. Try running it at Crown Jewel.
Anyway, enough impressions. I Callum 17X, £5. Appreciate it. Pour one out for Pepsi Phil. The Fed doesn't want him. He may have to join Impact after all.
Now, hold on.
We'll see. I think he'd rather retire, but you know.
I will be there no matter what.
Bruh, $5. Appreciate it. No Cody has the promo where he works in lines from the Kingdom in his back pocket for this Mania build. He's got a lot in his back pocket, I reckon.
Yeah, for sure.
He's got some
Absolutely.
a lot of viral lines that he's gonna go for. Globe Wrestling 199. Appreciate it. Ibu, what is the current percentage on Punk return?
Ever? 75.
National 84, 199. Appreciate it. Thoughts on the new CMLL AEW relationship?
Fucking rules. CMLL is having a resurgent year. They're one of the best promotions in the world. They have a bunch of new young stars emerging at the same time into a main event level, like Soberano Jr., Templario, Máscara Dorada. Mystico is back to being a super babyface ace at the age of 41, I want to say. Arena Mexico is rocking post-pandemic. They're back to kind of selling out the houses, rocking the house. CMLL fucking rules. And they're a real promotion unlike AAA. And they have logical stories and shows. And so Tony Khan associating himself with this promotion is a net positive because the United States fans can be exposed to some of the great young wrestlers that are in CMLL right now. And it's a great start with Rocky and Mystico. Quite frankly, it's the most exciting thing scheduled for AEW this week across all three shows by like a comfortable distance. So it's a great thing. It's great news.
Darren Walker, £2. Need a Vince Dynamite segment. Do we?
No, absolutely not.
Do we? Bob the Builder, $2 Canadian. Neon lights Nobel Prize when the leader speaks. That Pitbull, $2. Woof woof. Ibu only fed me peas. Ibu, you didn't feed that Pitbull.
I did not feed that pit bull. I don't own a pit bull, and so I'm not obligated to feed one. I have a beautiful 4-year-old golden retriever named Pina, and I did feed her about an hour and a half ago. She reminded me she was hungry. She was like, "Yo, you missed my 5 o'clock time," and I was like, "Oh shit!" And then I fed her.
Mason 84 199. Influencer boxing has to be a work. New pro wrestling.
At least
I don't think it's a work. I just think it's like
it would be way better if it was a work. To be honest with you, they're just not any good. They're not any good, man.
I was gonna say, have you seen like fucking like semi-worked MMA in Japan in like the 2000s was awesome, you know?
Yeah. Well, it is. We'll move on quick, but like anyone who's been to a lot of white collar boxing events or like amateur boxing events, you see that shit where like novices, they just grab each other because it helps their nerves. Now, in the main event, you saw that for the whole 6 rounds. So they got close to each other, they just grabbed each other because they're both safe if they're clinched, you know? Like it's like a silent agreement to not actually box because neither of them really know what they're doing ultimately. So it's not worked. It's worse than that. It's bad.
Yeah. Basically. Will Chisholm, $5. Triple H face when Jade and Charlotte went face to face. Pop me as well.
He's a
time.
very funny looking fella. You know? Well, I mean that spitefully. He's a very funny looking fella.
Hey, Charlotte, have you met Jade? Yes, I have.
He's
whatever.
that grin he had on his face when he did it and everything. He's a funny looking fella.
You know, it popped him, and he knew he's like, "Oh, Twitter's gonna love this one," you know.
Definitely.
Did you see all the posts, Joe and Monty, where people are like, "Oh, Triple H crouching down to make sure that his stars look more larger than life and taller than him."
Oh God!
You didn't see it?
Oh no! This is getting out of hand. I'm putting a flag on the play. Get it out.
All the WWE accounts were like, "Oh, Triple H," like knowing not to overshadow the moment, letting the ladies look larger than life, backing into the background, and just
he'd never take center stage in someone else's moment. I remember when I was at Wembley Arena for Takeover London, and he got a spotlight open to the show and said, "We are NXT," while everyone roared. He wouldn't. It's not really his style. Very understated fella, Triple H. You know.
You know what's funny about that? I'm surprised that like at Mania, one of these big shows, he didn't like just come out for like a victory lap. We are NXT style promo.
Give it about 5 months. There's another one for him to do that on, and we'll.
when he puts together Survivor Series, and it's like Dragon Lee versus Rey Mysterio, Gunther Gable for a War Games match, and the return of Randy Orton and Kairi Sane. And he comes out mid-show and he's just like, "Are you enjoying the show?"
To be fair, the press conferences are literally like his victory lap. That's the only reason they exist, if we're being real. So,
oh yeah, I brought up to someone in the company like, "Yeah, man, it's crazy how you guys are like more transparent with the media than before." And the person straight up said, like, you know, he might get mad at reveal this, but he straight up said like, Hunter really likes doing them because he feels good about himself.
I mean, he does. Everyone stands up and claps him when he
clear,
walks
bro.
in.
You know,
You literally
not
hear
breaking
like,
any news here. You know,
Byron Saxon's like coming up next to the stage, Triple H, and all I hear is bow down to the king, and people are like clapping, like Triple H, and he sits down and he's like, "Wow, what a show we just put on, you know, what we're doing, taking it to the next level. I mean, it's next level. Wow." And he just waffles for 20 minutes. The one that got me, Joe, was Shinsuke Nakamura. This is the Nakamura I've been waiting to see. You know, he's really taking it to the next level. I'm like, wait, you just like to talk. You just enjoy speaking.
he does enjoy them. He definitely enjoys them. But yeah, man, let's talk about. We spoke about SmackDown a bit. Spoke about Roman Cody face to face. Spoke a little bit briefly about Jade and Charlotte. Anything else on SmackDown?
Nick Aldis.
We got to do the Nick Aldis segment.
Nick Aldis.
It would be a crime not to give it to you first. Nick Aldis, he debuts on SmackDown. Nice suit, appears out of nowhere, owns Dominic Mysterio. You know, he's gonna be good for the role, isn't he?
He is, mate. This was pretty much the ideal scenario in that you kind of got two victories here all at once because, like, it's very clear that he's going to be good at this gig. And he was very smooth on the mic, considering that, I don't mean to talk out of turn, but there's no way he's ever spoken for a crowd that big, right? Like, there's no way. That was a big house. He was very, very smooth in the segment, which is good, obviously, if you sincerely like Nick Aldis, like we famously do. However, what made this actually good was that it was very funny also. But it wasn't necessarily funny at his expense so much as the way they presented him.
It was just funny. Like, is this surreal?
Like,
you know?
He introduced Nick Aldis, and then he just kind of like appeared with this this remarkable suit he was wearing, which made it funnier that he just appeared. And then Michael Cole did this kind of like, he kind of went, "Oh, oh," like me when someone asks me if I've seen an independent wrestler. "Oh yeah," and he said something about his in-ring career, and then Nick, his opening line was like he was like a politician, which was also very funny. So this was really a home run if you're, you know, in the lane that the three of us are in the sense that, like, I'm like, because in all seriousness, while it would have been funny, I'm glad Nick didn't like, you know, fumble his lines or whatever, because good for him that he's got that gig. Like, genuinely, it's been a grind, but like the way that it was presented was funny because the crowd obviously didn't know who he was because, of course, they don't. And the way that I still want to know where he was. Like, where did he come from?
We get a camera cut.
He must have been sat next to like Samantha Irvin or something.
But the camera cut it before he got sat up to do it, so you catch him mid like walking in, and you're like, "Where were you?" Right.
Just appears, bro.
I will say he immediately got over with Fed Twitter because like he had that one banger, you know, clippable line where he was like, "Dominic Mysterio, big fan of your father," and he kind of walked off, and it's like, "Oh,
he will, like, genuinely, he will be good in that role. Like he's pretty good talker, and he has the right vibe for it as like a kind of professional. I think he'll be better as a heel, but you know, time will tell, and he could equally be a babyface.
Joe, so you didn't see his interaction with Charlotte?
I did. No, I saw it. That was also very funny.
Charlotte Flair, yes. You would have won at Fastlane if it wasn't for the damage control. And she's like, "No, it's the ref's call." And he's like, "No, we're gonna make this right. Next week, you and Io Sky for the championship." And I'm like, "All right, man. All right." I think no. Oh my God, Chelsea Green walks up to him or whatever with like some type of issue she wanted to voice, and he was like, "I'm having a conversation right now." All right, and it's just kind of like, okay.
Business, bro. He's the world champion.
Monty and Joe, how many weeks until Nick Aldis has a theme song in the Titantron?
I hope we get one next week.
I need like just like a hilarious like just like rock song theme or something where it, like
I don't know, man. I don't know what they're doing with him. You know,
wrestlers
obviously
are
he's going to
brawling.
be the general manager. I don't know if he'll get tempted into the ring or I don't know what's going on there.
They're gonna brawl one week, and all you're gonna hear is like, "I'm a classic wrestler," and it's just Nick Aldis on the screen or whatever. And he's just like, "SmackDown Universe, it's time for a tag team match." And it's like,
His Titantron is just like old wrestling logos they own flashing on the screen. AWA, WCW, you know. Jim Crockett, like it's just all logos.
Monty, I saw the WWE fans buying into like the brand kayfabe. Someone wrote like Dragon Lee, Bobby Lashley, Rey Mysterio, Roman Reigns, AJ Styles, and they're like, Nick Aldis' roster is stacked. I was like,
Oh my God.
He's got a lot to work with, brother.
I was like, he doesn't book the show. I would be remiss if we didn't mention Kevin Owens has been traded to SmackDown.
Yes.
And I have two feelings. One, it does severely makes me sad in the sense that like Raw's the show that I can watch live, and like he's a big part of what's made the show very, very solid lately because he's just awesome. You know, he's good. He's just so good at TV, talking, angles, matches. He has his motor, all that type of stuff. And breaking up Steen Erico is sad in the sense that I thought that they were having the tag team of the year run. Personally speaking, they were very reliable in television main events. And from a storytelling standpoint, super interesting because he had just started warming up to Jey Uso, and now Cody was the catalyst in breaking up him and Sammy, and that's going to cause a chain reaction of a chain effect of reactions on Raw because Judgment Day are going to have a freer reign taking over the show without Steen Erico being the last line of defense on the show, and Cody will be blamed for this by people like Drew McIntyre. So the stories continue to churn, and I kind of now buy what they were telling me, which was that because WWE Creative was telling me like, oh, brother, we plotted out everything up until Mania, and I'm like, yeah, bullshit. And now I'm seeing it, I'm like, nah, you probably did. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. As for Steen, I feel bad for him. He's on the show with a lot of wrestlers I don't really care for. So we'll see what he gets out of Austin Theory.
Right, it's gonna be Theory, right?
You know what I mean? Like he went from the roster with like Chad Gable and Gunther, you know, to like.
Well, Neva's got a stacked heel sort of the roster. Anyway,
hopefully, he can work with Lashley a little bit.
Oh, that'd
be good.
You know what, Joe? Wait a minute. Tonight on Nick Aldis' SmackDown, Dragon Lee and Kevin Owens versus the Street Profits. It's like, holla, holla, holla. I'm a classic wrestler. AEW logo on the screen.
Picture of Nick Bockwinkel on the screen.
Anyway, anything else on SmackDown? LA Knight and Roman getting into
it. Oh yeah.
Big business, brother. People love LA Knight, man. People love it online. People love it in the buildings. People just love LA Knight, you know. It's good. It's good stuff, man. LA Knight didn't seem phased by the moment being in there with the tribal chief. Big stage, you know. Big spot for him to be in, and he was comfortable out there. It was good stuff. So, you know, people are going to be behind this, and hopefully the crown jewel match is hopefully it's a good one. You know, hopefully it's a good one with a hot crowd, etc., etc. I'm sure it will be.
That should open the Saudi show. It'll be a hot crowd. They'll be really receptive to it. Give them a good 15. You know what I mean? And,
good luck. That thing's at least 30 minutes long, bro.
I was saying 15, and then like we get the rundown from Fightful and it says like Knight and Roman is earmarked for the first 35 minutes of the show. It's like,
yeah, I'm not sure how good that will be. But the segment popped me very much.
Knight's gonna do that jumping to the top turnbuckle superplex spot, and ref bump, and
gonna hit some good DDTs, you know. Throw some nice punches in that match.
Big neck breaker.
Roman getting hit on Knight for 17 minutes, and then going, call yourself a megastar.
Yeah.
I'm the megastar.
There's some real bad versions of that match. I'm gonna just
Oh,
like,
yeah. You couldn't get
there's
this.
some real, and I say
There's
that
like
as
a-
a fan of both guys, but like as a pairing, that could be very concerning.
There's like a 1-star version of LA Knight versus
Absolutely, there is. Yeah,
at minute 19. Knight firing back. Knight with the punches. Yeah. And he's doing his fucking comeback in 19 minutes in after like everybody's emaciated.
Oh man, but yeah, SmackDown. He had some good highlights. Collision, Rampage, any AEW highlights from you two from the weekend? Of
Yes.
course, Christian Cage and
Yes.
Bryan Danielson being the standout, I'd assume.
yeah, man, that's my match of the weekend, and I was at Raw Quest, and it's still my match of the weekend. We'll get out of the way now. The finish is not as satisfying as you'd hope. TV finishes, I do cut some slack, but I do wish it was a bit more creative. You know, I had like one extra beat to it. But nonetheless, this match is, I've watched this now 5 times. And it is just pretty much everything I like about pro wrestling in every which way, even to the point of Shivani on play-by-play. Just like, there was like Tony Schiavone's always enthusiastic and optimistic, but something was awoken here in Tony Schiavone, because this was like, it was a brand of greatness that he was kind of familiar with, and it took him back to a time far, far away. It felt like Bryan Danielson plugged into a Christian Cage match. And when I say a Christian Cage match, I just mean a traditional wrestling main event that no one does anymore for some reason.
Yes.
Very simple match. Like, Christian is selfless and hasn't got much of an ego as a wrestler. And so the story they told was Bryan had him beat in every department, but he has that weakness, right? He has the injury, and Christian's smart enough to go to that. If you go back and watch the match, which clearly I have a couple times too many, Christian doesn't have one cut off and then take over. He cuts him off like 4 different times, and Dragon keeps coming back and overwhelming him because he's that much better than him, you know? And ultimately, the thing that really turns the tide is the back suplex on the apron, which looked gnarly. And then the match kind of changes and Dragon sells differently. And last week we talked about Shin and Seth, and I commented on how Seth didn't give himself room to, expand his sell. Bryan here is the opposite example, where he was selling the arm throughout, but his sell changed dramatically on the apron spot because that was when it was trouble, So just a beautiful match. Christian Cage is increasingly kind of an outlier in the way he approaches wrestling stylistically and psychologically. Every young wrestler in the world should be watching that match because there is so much to learn from the placement of things, the way that one piece connects to the, to the next one, and it feeling like a fluid, coherent story from start to finish. That to me is like perfect TV wrestling. I love that match.
The way it flowed and escalated so seamlessly without like any like overt like this is the third quarter of the match where we now do this, and like it's a very like minor thing I think that most people wouldn't really check for or notice, but like it was just so smooth how it got to that point. Like the escalation and the pacing, it's like seamless. It's like liquid, Christian Cage, he's kind of like. He's getting kind of scary, Joe. Like he's he's getting like frighteningly nasty because like
he gets so much out of so little.
Yeah,
yeah, bro. He's now had a couple matches this year that like in the mode I'm like this is amazing, and like it has nothing to do with like what moves he's doing because frankly I'm struggling to remember what specific moves he's even doing that he even did in the match. I just remember like
frog splash, bro.
Yeah, I just remember the journey that he's taking me through as a viewer. Like, I'm not sure anyone is better right now in the world at like that genre of heel wrestling, of like just this kind of crafty heel work as a veteran. He's just like scary good. And Danielson. I want to also highlight Tony Schiavone and Jim Ross because I'm not in like a not in a harmful way. I think Shivani in AEW as a commentator is like harmlessly bad, to be quite frank. I like Shivani historically. I've enjoyed Shivani, but in AEW he's just,
harmlessly bad.
Yeah, harmlessly bad. Bayley versus Zelina Vega was a harmlessly bad television match, But You're not walking away with like this ruined the promotion. You know, a pan push. Now that might.
It was fine. I'm just being silly. Carry on.
But the point is, yeah, like Shivani in AEW's felt like the washed uncle who's just happy to be there and he's popping and wrestling, and it's like, yeah, fair play for him, right? Here, what it really is Shivani's not a play-by-play man. He's not a color commentator. He's a play-by-play, and here he's doing play-by-play. And Jim Ross, something about when they can watch wrestling that they can understand and believe in, they commentate it like it's just a real sport, and they go back with it, you know. And it's wrestling commentary without any bit of like wink, wink, nudge, nudge, like, haha, this is fake, and we have some in jokes about it and whatever. They're not doing that. They're not trying to pop each other. They're just commentating over the match that they're seeing, and they're legitimately trying to like break down what's happening and like if Danielson has a chance here and Christian and all that stuff. And I love it because Jim Ross starts to buy into the match, like from a kayfabe standpoint, and he starts to believe it. And then like you get these gruesome bumps, and he's like, oh my god, oh, you know. And then I start to believe, and then Danielson starts getting like, you know, moves done to his shoulder. Now I think he hurt his shoulder. And I'm like, oh no, like what's gonna happen? Is Christian Cage gonna get him? And then Danielson, you know, he's gonna jump in the void and do the Busaiku knee, and I'm like, oh, he won. It's the best, man. And I love this main event, and I come out of it, and yeah, the TV finish hurt it a bit because I thought the work largely in this was like trending towards like just like a gorgeous match, and it still was, but I kind of slightly, you know, demerited it for the finish.
You kind of have to.
Yeah, you know what I mean. But what I'll say is, you know, even though like a lot of recent AEW TV is not doing that much for me, to be honest, at the very least, on a lot of these collisions, Christian Cage is going 20, brother. You know, and it's like,
yeah, man, that's wrestling, right? Like genuinely, we do a lot of big picture talk and like show reviews and stuff, but like wrestling traditionally is there's some good stuff on most wrestling shows, and if you pick that out and focus on that, you're probably better off for it. You know, like legitimately. That doesn't mean we can't critique a full show. That's part of the gig. But there is something to be said for, you know, like, hey, Danielson's wrestling on TV every week. Let me enjoy that. And one other quick thing. I know I cut you off, so my bad, but just one quick thing.
Mm-hmm.
I know there's been a lot of talk about AEW attendance in like this like big war conversation way, so I don't mean to really go that, but just a small thing. As AEW's atmosphere changes and there's less of like that party vibe that they initially had, you're increasingly aware of why a Bryan Danielson is as great as he is.
Yes.
Because it's a lot easier to have a fun match when they are popping for every single thing you do, and it ruled to watch on TV. But as you get in front of different houses, the way I have in the last couple of weeks, last couple of months, you see how the true, like genuinely world-class professionals, the amount of attention to detail there is in their work and how they make sure that every single piece makes sense and every single strike lands legitimately, you know, because now you really see the quality. To me anyway, personally, I was talking to somebody about this the other day, and it's like, I don't mean that in a spiteful way. I'm just meaning genuinely, as the atmosphere around the promotion changes, I think you can increasingly see the gaps between the good, the great, and then the greatest when you're talking about a Bryan Danielson. So that's an interesting thing, I think, that's kind of appeared in recent months.
When a company's rolling, you can trot anybody out there and they just do their stuff. Yep. And people are just in for the ride. They want the show to be great. They're having a good time. They want everything to be good. They're chanting, this is awesome for everybody. Everybody seems like they're the most over guy on the planet. And when things are grinding, and it's a much tougher grind to kind of get the seats in there, to get everybody engaged, it's the masters who will always succeed at getting people at that point. You saw it in like 93, 94 when like Ric Flair would be there, you know, wrestling in WCW. Yep. And like, oh my God, I remember a match. It was either WCW Saturday Night or Worldwide. It's 94 against Steamboat. And it's like WCW's not flying high in like early 94, but you get Flair and Steamboat in there. Their instincts just take over, and you get a crowd that's like half apathetic and maybe don't even know what wrestling is. But like these guys just kind of got them to where they needed to be because that's just what real wrestlers do. And the modern example right now is Christian Cage and Bryan Danielson, two guys who, for my money, are the absolute best thing about AEW's product over the last maybe 2 months or so. And man, things would be seen a lot differently if they were not there. So they're invaluable, their presence, and they're just all timers. And Christian's somebody who this year, I've always respected Christian. I've always liked him as a wrestler. genuinely, I've always been a fan, and I've watched a lot of his career in real time, actually. But I never like saw him as like some all-time great. That it's weird. Like I'm like, yeah, Christian's very good. And I've always liked him. I never was, oh man, Christian's one of the best like wrestlers, or whatever. Right now, like I'm like, man, this dude's like something
He's
else.
special, man. And
Yeah,
and I recommend
yeah.
anyone, even if you feel like you saw a lot of his work, revisit it with your current eyes. You know, honest, no, like genuinely, man. Like, you take for granted some of the stuff that dude was good at. You know, but if you watch it now, especially with what we do, it's like you appreciate how much thought he put into his match. Like, I reviewed, someone actually requested, which I appreciate, but I reviewed a match with Yoshitatsu on ECW, and they have like a genuine like 4-star match. Yoshitatsu,
No
on
way.
WWT. You don't
Really?
even really know why it works. It's just because Christian's that smart. He just plugs his stuff in, and it works. The crowd loves it.
It's crazy, Joe, because like you said with the modern eye, I was watching those ECW 2009 episodes, right? And like I'd watch for Christian and stuff, and I remember being like on break from school and stuff in the summer, and I'm like, I'll watch ECW. Sheldon Benjamin and Christian are on and shit, right? Christian have a match, and I'm like, that's pretty cool. I like Christian. He's gonna move all your life, and like I bet you, like being the sickos that we are, I go back now and I'm like, Christian's.
You absolutely would. I promise you, like 100%.
Details.
on these Tuesday taped ECW shows, commentated by Josh Matthews and Matt Stryker. Yeah, man, he's something else with that. Another one, Joe. Fucking I rewatched. I think you rewatched it too. I rewatched SummerSlam in 2013 recently, and it's an amazing show. But everybody talks about the Danielson Cena match and the Punk Brock for good reason. Christian Cage and ADR, they kind of made some real music in the middle of that show.
Yeah, I remember we did talk about this because we did a watch along at Late Night Grin, and we were kind of like blown away by how good that match was. It was that's like Christian. Christian will take guys who are kind of bland but have like good fundamentals and will turn them into like Ric Flair.
Yeah. and for whatever reason, like I remember when I first watched this show, I actually didn't see this live because I was out of wrestling a little bit. Like I was in and out, and I just happened to miss this one. And then I come back when like the network exists, and I watched this show, and I had no clue what the stories were going in. Like when I watched this show for the first time in 2014, and I remember watching this. I'm like, is the stipulation that like Christian has to retire if he loses? Because that's how it was worked. Like Christian was working like it was like his last stand and his last chance at the World Heavyweight Championship. And I'm like, oh man, like it felt like a retirement match or something, like with that type of stakes. And that's just the magic of Christian.
It was 10 years ago, brother. How crazy is that?
What the fuck, Joe?
A lot's happened.
Regarding Collision overall, also, the trend lately is that like Adam Copeland's the main character of the programming, and he's not doing poor in the role. I mean, it's edgy, he has cachet with the audience, and he can talk and all that type of stuff. But I do hope they kind of transition him slightly in the next few weeks into like a cool veteran that like just runs out to do cool things rather than like hey, welcome to AEW insert show and ending the show with Andy Spears McWayne, because that'll get a little old after a while, because that's like the last 3 shows. It's like opening promo, Spears Nick McWayne in the main event, and like that'll get old in a month, so let's try to be dynamic and varied. I saw it on Collision, Monty, and I just said out loud, the rated R era.
Yeah, that's concerning. That will continue to concern me. Yes,
the rated R.
A lot of hype a lot of hype. I might be pushing it a bit, but there was a lot of good reviews of Chris Statlander versus Sky Blue as well.
Yes.
Oh,
good stuff.
Yeah,
good stuff.
Damn, it was damn good. Chris Statlander's reign is like pretty remarkable what she's doing here. I don't mean that to like slight the people that she's wrestled, but she's given almost all of them their best match. And some of them are promising. So like, it is what it is. It's a joint. It takes two to tango, so to speak. But her performance in these matches is incredible. She's one of, if it was listing best things about AEW right now, she's one of them. Chris Statlander is 100% one of them right now. She's so consistent.
Joe, I tweeted out like, she's one of my favorite. She's one of the AEW wrestlers that still like moves me when I watch them.
Yeah.
Because there's a couple wrestlers, and it's not just an AEW thing. It's like everywhere. There's a couple wrestlers right now that I watch them and like they're still like really good, but like it's almost like you see in the act, you see in the routine. It's like there's very little new to like just kind of get from the experience of watching them. And so it's kind of like what do you want me to say? But like Statlander, I watch your matches and like I still get into them. I watched the Sky Blue thing and like Sky Blue walks out with like increased mascara, and they're like, "Oh, the darkness of Julia Hart is getting to her." Clearly, like, oh, like she's becoming. And so we're operating at a negative because I'm like, I don't give a fuck. Like, there's like, oh, is she getting more evil? And I'm like, I don't care. But then the bell rings, and oh, it is so smooth. It's so sharp, and Sky Blue really did work hard in this match. I got to be honest. Like, she looked good in there. And Statlander, like you said, Joe, she's just kind of a beast. She's one of my favorite wrestlers to watch right now in AEW. And this was actually particularly good. Like, this is a notable.
She has urgency, bro. You know, like
that's what it is.
She wrestles every minute of the match like she's trying to win it. Which, guess what? That should be the point. And it's like, so her matches have this energy and dynamism where it feels like they're actually alive and taking place, rather than I'm currently stalling because in 4 minutes I'm going to get to do my finishing stretch. You know, like, she's always in it. She's brings it physically. She's on fire right now.
That match might have only been like 6-7 minutes, but like it was really like good. It was worked in a way where like none of the seconds were wasted, so to speak. And she's doing really well with that. So yeah, absolutely. That was one of the other big highlights of Collision. So for sure. I needed that after not Nick Wayne. Sorry, that was the habit. After CJ Perry and
you're stuttering all over your words, like Adam Copeland.
CJ, no. See, no. I was thinking about CJ Perry in Action Anxiety. Yeah.
Oh, Miro gonna be beating up a bunch of geeks for the next however many. I wonder how long to go with that. You know.
Hot and flexible CJ,
man.
Yeah.
So the story is hot and flexible CJ Perry wants her husband back, and does not want to embrace her because of God or something, and she's enlisting. She is offering her services to shitters, and Miro is beating up said shitters. And
she wants back in the game,
right?
You see, but Miro knows the game is bad for CJ. Because the bright lights and the showbiz is no good for the hot and flexible
CJ Perry. Yes.
Yeah. So what he's going to do is rather than like just kind of letting her figure this out for herself, he's simply going to murder everyone that she tries to manage.
Right.
Which that could be a good bit though, right? Like in fairness. Especially if she does like 3 of them at once, like 3 guys come out and he just fucking whoops all of them. I love that. Stands there.
I love that every Lana storyline is like really Heyman pilled, whether he's booking it or not. It's just this like thing. I don't know. It's interesting because that genuinely is something Paul Heyman would book, where like he would he'd do the voice. The voiceover is just like hot and flexible. CJ Perry wants back in the game, but someone doesn't want her in the game. And that's Miro, God's favorite champion. This Sunday at ECW House Party, Miro comes to collect against Action Andretti.
When Andretti walked on, this is mean, but I have to be honest. When Andretti walked on screen, I like yelled out loud in anger, like, "Oh Jesus, no!" It was fine. It was a setup for later, which is whatever. But for a minute, I thought she was going to actually manage him. And I was like, "Oh, come on!" Yeah.
He could have showed a little bit more life in the segment, though. He kind of walked in like, he walked in. You see, he walked in. He's just kind of like,
"Hey there,
hey, I'm Action Andretti," and she's just kind of like, "All right, hey."
Like, what was his sign off? What was his last line? Do you remember this? He said something funnier than that, bro. Kiwi in the chat. If you don't know now, you know. That was what he said.
It feels like when like a dude is nervously trying to pick up a girl and he doesn't know what to say, and he says something that he thinks sounds cool in the moment, and after he walks away, he's like, "Fuck."
Honestly, if that's what they were going for, it was the best segment on the show, I've decided. So
there you go. But yeah, it's a lot going on in the weekend. Even I'm a big fan of Nomura versus Abe. So
yes,
tell us about it, Ivo.
So Takia Nomura and Fuminori Abe are the Astronauts. They are a tag team on the Japanese independent scene. They do freelance work, but they also primarily wrestle in Big Japan Pro Wrestling in the Strong BJ division, which is the non-deathmatch division. They, in some circles believe them to be the best tag team in the world, actually. And You know, the only reason they don't get more of that recognition, frankly, Monty, is just because they just don't have the
It's exposure. Yeah.
It's really exposure because they're excellent. They're fucking phenomenal. But nevertheless, the astronauts got to wrestle each other this week. It was at a Kakuto Tandeidan show, which it's basically a Battle Arts revival. Battle Arts was a 90s shoot style promotion.
Mm-hmm.
Among the many that were in that trend, like Pancrase and UWFI. And so these guys kind of put this show together and they main evented it. And got a lot of hype from certain circles. Some people thought it was like the match of the decade. And the gist of it was two friends, two tag team partners who went out and, like meatheads, beat the shit out of each other. It was in Shinjuku Face, I believe, is the venue. Small, intimate, cozy venue, no commentary. So it's just damp and cold and ugly and dark. There's like 400 people in there. And they're just headbutting each other and punching each other in the face. But the gist of this was these guys grappled for about 16, 17 minutes, had a shoot style match, kicked each other, slapped each other, punched each other, elbowed each other, headbutted each other. And the resulting match was just meathead glory. You know, I thought this was very, very good. I'm not quite as high as some of the people who absolutely love the astronauts. I'm also quite not as invested in them because I don't watch them as much as some of their biggest fans. But even aside from the investment, I didn't think it was like even as good as some of the other matches I've seen them have. Like they've had matches in the past with Yuji Okabayashi and Daisuke Sekimoto that I thought were like legitimately just some of the greatest tag matches I've ever seen. And this wasn't even like on that tier. But I watched it a second time because I really wanted Monty to just understand where people were coming from with this. You know what I mean? On that level. And I think what it really is, Monty, is that I think there's a pushback right now in wrestling amongst certain fans. And the pushback is against like the more melodramatic, theatrical way of doing wrestling. And the most recent notable friend versus friend match we got, Monty, was MJF and Adam Cole. And as we know, in that match, you know, they hesitated to hit each other and they hesitated to punch each other in the face. And MJF said, like, was this all about the belt? If you wanted to just take it. And he, you know, like stuff like that. And I know that some people that they just don't really want that in their wrestling. And so if that's something that you're really averse to, Abe and Nomura is like chicken noodle soup for you, because it's like these guys are best friends and they're like trying to kill each other, you know. And at the end of it, they shook hands and they hugged and raised each other's hands as they're bleeding and shit, you know. And for some people, it's like this is like almost a return to form for just the purity of the sport. And so I actually kind of get it from that standpoint. Again, I don't think this is anywhere near like a match of the decade, personally speaking. I don't even think it was the best match this week, but it was a really cool little thing. And I'm glad it was available on Wrestle Universe, because a lot of what these guys do is just hard to track down. And the BJW streaming service, BJW Core, BJW Core, Monty, they upload shit like weeks late. Like you get BJW house show clips like a month later and shit like that. And it's like, fuck, you know, why even bother? So I was glad this was on Wrestle Universe. I hope these guys continue to be able to wrestle on platforms where people can track them down, because they are fantastic wrestlers. And so that's kind of my thing on Nomura versus Abe.
Yeah, we talked about this a little bit earlier. Yeah, but we were in a pretty similar place. Like as soon as this ended, I thought it was great, but I was like, man, I really wish I had more investment, because there would be a gravity to the violence that wasn't there for me, because I'm not a big enough fan or aware enough. Like I've seen a handful of astronauts matches and they've generally been great, but that's different to like actively anticipating this match, you know? Like they're different things. And wrestling doesn't kind of exist in a vacuum in that way. So for me, it was saying that I appreciate and I loved watching. I mean, don't get us wrong here, folks. If you've not watched this match, we recommend it, because the physicality and violence alone will be worth your time, even if you have no frame reference whatsoever. It's a great time to watch.
That's how I watched it.
Yeah, exactly. It's just, I think it depends on how you kind of frame it, because if your backdrop is this in fact the best match of the decade? That's always hard, right? But I mean, it's wonderful. I'm going to watch it again when we're done here for the match card tomorrow. So I mean, it's great. Absolutely go your way to watch it. And also, I just love that a show like that can exist. I wish there was more of that in the US scene. There never will be, because just for a range of reasons. But like each month when I do the match guide thing and I'm like collecting, there'd always be like these like quirky one-off shows that emerge on a weekend in Japan, you know, and it would be like a singular style and approach. It's so cool. And it's an awesome match.
The fact that they can just go they can just pull their money together and be like, remember Battle Arts? And then just like put together this little dingy little fucking show with like
So
40,
cool, man.
40
So
people.
cool.
And be
It's
like,
good shit, man.
let's just do that again.
It's going in the Hulbert match guide coming out tomorrow. So
Absolutely.
keep your eyes out.
I think it was Don Kakong in the chat said the what division? Yeah, the strong BJ division. There's 2 divisions in BJW. Strong BJ and Deathmatch BJ. And it's basically just
Deathmatch and not deathmatch.
Yes.
Yeah. Royal Quest, Joe, you was there. We talk about we talk about the top 2 matches, any other highlights, start us off, Joe. Start us off.
I am the way these shows are built is something I'm very accustomed to, and I'll actually kind of explain it to my folks, because as they're watching it, the way they do their shows is pretty unique if you're not familiar with New Japan, right? Like, there's a bunch of like road to tag, and it's basically a house show until the 2 key matches, 2 or 3 generally key matches that are going to be worked like big time matches. Going in, I was really intrigued by Zach and Will, because frankly, I hadn't seen their last couple matches. It'd been a while since I'd seen them wrestle. The co-main event with Shingo and Ishii, I knew would be great, but I have to be honest, after their last G1 match, there was a part of me that was kind of like, I know what they're going to do. Now, I did in fact know what they were going to do, but it is very different actually sitting there and watching them do what they're going to do in person.
Yeah, of course.
And so within about 10 minutes, I was swept up in this match. And one thing I would say on an objective level, since I rewatched it, it held up better on tape than I thought it would. They did go beyond where I think you'd expect them to go for a spot show in London in front of 3,000 people. The finishing stretch was expansive. They went, and what happened was the atmosphere, the people in attendance, they almost felt like we were in on a secret when we got that much of a finish out of those 2 fellas, because they really didn't need to go that hard, right? Like it was a throwaway match on a throwaway show. So I loved that. That was spectacular. We'll kind of throw that around and then we'll get back to the main event. Ibu, what did you make of Shingo and Ishii?
It's funny because when these New Japan like guys kind of do their match that they've done before at like G1s and stuff like that, when they do them in like these like spot American shows or these UK shows, I've kind of come to realize and accept like, okay, I'm gonna get like the 75% version of it. Like Ospreay versus Shingo at the Rev Pro show right at the Copper Box right before Wembley. That was very good, but that's like nowhere near as good as like their best matches in New Japan Pro Wrestling. And so that's the mentality I went to with Shingo and Ishii. But I was reminded that like Shingo and Ishii have 1 speed. You know what I mean? Like, so this got to where it needed to be towards the closing stretch, and I thought this was like actually pretty much around the level of like a match they would have on a New Japan card, to be honest with you, work-wise. I thought this was awesome. And like you said, it was almost like a little secret, like, all right, you know what, guys, like, look, between us, we'll give you the real Shingo Ishii match. Don't worry. Like, we're not going to. So I love this, actually. I thought it was like fucking awesome. And the card needed it at the time that it came in also, because I was starting to kind of like look around like, this Royal Quest show, what's going on here?
Yeah, which is fair. The main event, Zach and Will, I live thought was like a borderline masterpiece, and it is still great. There are like issues with it that emerged when I rewatched it that I kind of was lost on me because the atmosphere was great. I was telling the guys this earlier. The sound in the building is entirely lost when you guys watch this. Like I don't say that to be like a dick about it. I'm just meaning the production was not where it needed to be. Like, it was electric in there. It reminded me of some of the big boxing matches I've been to over here. So it was a hell of a deal, and it allowed them to kind of feel their way into the match. And there's a lot to love about the match. The kind of stylistic clash is very intriguing, because Zach almost has to work, like, he has to walk a tightrope, basically, right? Because he's not as quick as Will, and he doesn't hit as hard as Will, but he has this domain on the mat where he can dominate. And there's parts of that are evident in the match and present in the match. One of the things I thought was a strange choice was the way that Zach split his focus on both arms. And I know that a grappler like him doesn't need to focus on one arm, and in a lot of ways that makes more sense. But from a dramatic point of view, it kind of skews the story you're telling, and it kind of like muddies the waters a little bit in a way that on rewatch I thought kind of undercut it. It's still a great match. I was just surprised that the co-main, for me, actually held up better on tape than I expected, and vice versa for the main. So both great matches, just different than I personally expected.
Yeah, 2 really good matches. The audio definitely, from where I was sitting at home, was definitely quite the disappointment because like it was almost like the AAA shows, like the Triple Mania shows, where it's like
man,
you can kind of faintly hear that the crowd's really hot. Like you can hear that they're making a bunch of noise, and you can kind of get an idea of what the atmosphere might be like, but it's just not coming through properly. So yeah, I was quite disappointed by that, but the work in both matches was great. I'm sure it was cool to see a bunch of other stars as well for in the Copper Box. We mentioned Eddie Kingston a lot earlier, But yeah, New Japan Royal Quest. Ibu, anything you want to say about the main event or anything else on it?
Yeah, I thought the show had a good start and a nice pace. It was like the first 4 matches were all like they're all good matches overall, generally speaking. Kind of popped me at how much Yota Tsuji just like refused to like have a back and forth match with Luke Jacobs. Like, I was like, oh, they're gonna have like an industry plant banger where they both kind of raise each other's hands at the end. And no, Yota Tsuji just beat him and then threw him out of the ring. Get the fuck out of here, you geek! Which kind of popped me. I can't lie. Yeah, it started off well. Then it kind of sunk pretty deeply into house show level with some of the worst wrestlers in New Japan Pro Wrestling. The Tongans are really, really bad. El Phantasmo is not for me. I am done with Great Okan. I mean, the list goes on and on. They got to clean up that undercard. I can't wait for the youth movement and youth takeover to fully overtake New Japan as a company, because a lot of these guys should be like expelled for good, because I'm tired of seeing them. So that kind of happened in the middle of it, and then we recovered with Shingo and Ishii, which was great, and then Ospreay and ZSJ. I thought this rocked. Like, I didn't even love every section of it, but it just felt important and big, and it was just very smooth. And then the closing stretch was fucking great. So, I mean, look, these guys there's very few better at closing stretches in wrestling right now. So, Will Ospreay's in the form of his life, and Zack Sabre Jr. is just an incredible wrestler. So, I thought that was a fantastic main event, to be honest with you, and it closed the show very nicely and made this whole thing worth watching. Thumbs up for Royal Quest.
Thumbs up for Royal Quest. Thumbs up. Manny the Hooper.
Oh boy,
joining us real quick.
Hello, everybody.
Manny the Hooper, you sound like you're in, I don't even know, working in the factory. He's fucking...
Well, I can't say what I'm doing right now, but can you guys hear me better now or what?
Yeah, I guess this will do.
I have one AirPod in.
One AirPod. Okay.
Maybe I'll turn my AC down.
Yeah, I think that'll help. So yeah, Royal Quest, we just spoke about it. I think we basically covered the weekend now. And now
I saw the 2 matches for those British shows.
Whatever, man. What else do we need? We need to get into this Vince McMahon business.
Yeah.
Vince McMahon. You okay, bro?
No, I just remembered that. I
also shut you off your feet or something.
No. Sami Zayn's opening Raw tonight with a promo. But yeah, go
ahead. Manny, you've got a fuzzy back noise, so I'm gonna mute you. Unmute yourself when you talk, though. Oh, that's a lot better.
This is a wretched
low energy, background noise, one AirPod.
He comes in and all he hears
burying British wrestlers. Just
it's not his best cameo. Not his best cameo, folks.
No Abby. No. He walked in and all you hear is like, yeah, I don't know, British shit happened. I don't fucking know. It's like, okay.
Anyway,
hey man, I'm on the highway, man. What do you expect me? I'm trying to, trying to talk and shit.
Mossy, you were saying?
Yeah, Vince McMahon is reportedly off WWE Creative, and this was a Ari Emanuel, CEO of Endeavor, decision. Triple H, who is by title, the head of WWE Creative, is actually doing that, and 100% he's got the reins of creative. Vince McMahon will not be involved, it seems, going forward. And yeah, man, a lot of WWE fans have been rejoicing, understandably. Vince McMahon, this is kind of, he's been gone, then he's been back again, and then he was gone again, and then it was like he might be back a bit, and now it seems like, for the first time ever, when it comes to decision making in WWE. Someone who is actually above Vince McMahon in the pecking order is making a decision for him to, step away from the creative side of things. I don't know what this is going to mean long term. I don't know how long this is going to last. Of course, it's just reports. We don't know what's going on. But yeah, Vince McMahon off creative, reportedly. We'll see how long it lasts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, where we at with it, Ibo?
Yeah, this is really funny. This is like this feels like when Joe Pesci's character in Godfather got whacked when he thought he was gonna get like fucking become a made man. You know, this old fucking stupid bastard. He clearly pushed through to sell the company, literally so that he can regain control of it, so to speak. He did all this fucking bloodletting. He changed up the fucking board of directors so that they could vote him back in. He started the sale process. He got multiple lawsuits from shareholders. All this messy garbage that he was totally fine with dealing with, just to get basically back his spot. Then he does this sale, where he's doing it with the intention and expectation that Emanuel is basically going to make him the man, and it appeared like that was going to happen. But yeah, so fucking Ari kisses his ass publicly. They do that whole interview after the merger, or after like the deal was made, and he's kissing up to Vince and talking about how he defers to Vince when it comes to wrestling decisions, all that type of stuff. We spend this entire spring period where we have to watch like a WWE that's like a 65% Paul Levesque production, 35% Vince, with the 35% literally just being, I don't want that, I don't want that, I don't want that, no more him, no more her, no more him, no more her, and it stalled and delayed so many people's creative plans, and it's kind of annoying. But we fast forward now to this merger, and this guy gets fucked, and it's really funny to see. There's already been a boost in morale from talent, because I don't know if you know this, Joe. The entire Raw women's division was on Raw last week, except for Nikki Cross. The entire division, including the catering crew, everybody was just on the show. And not that I'm high on every single person that was featured, but good for everybody, I guess, so to speak, that they got to be on TV and feel important and involved. So from that standpoint, people are happy, because it's like, man, we all get to be on TV now. Anyway, yeah, he's been taken off creative. Hunter's been knighted, and Ari's been publicly blaming or attributing some of the blame to Vince for the stock going down. And we got the Justin Barrasso article about the whole situation, and yeah, we'll see where it goes. But I get the feeling genuinely this time, and I know it's tough to say this because Vince has 9 lives. I do get the feeling that Ari is like trending towards phasing Vince out and kind of seeing him mostly as a figurehead role. So it's very interesting. What I wonder now is, was this his plan all along, or has something come up in the investigations? Because it's not talked about a lot, guys, but he's being investigated by the FBI right now, and has been for a little bit. So if anything has come up in that, Ari's going to be the first to know. So I wonder if something came up where he was like, "Oh, we gotta get this guy the fuck out of here." But we'll see. It's an interesting development, and it's a positive one.
Yeah, it's what man. He never feels like he's actually done. He always feels like there's going to be a chance that he finds a way back into the company. But like I said, this is the first time ever that someone actually above him is making the decisions. And Triple H. It seems like Triple H is going to be his Dana White. His second Dana White. Emanuel, I'm talking about, of course. So I don't find it all that surprising, to be honest. Vince McMahon is getting really old, like really, really old, and you have to wonder how switched on he is these days, But
Yeah.
we'll see. We'll see what happens. Triple H, of course, WWE has been doing great business under him. The fans seem to be happier than the happiest they've been in a long, long time in terms of satisfaction with the product. WWE fans love it. Houses are up. There's all these hype in different things, and onwards and upwards, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Onwards and upwards until he decides to kick up a fuss again, Vince McMahon. So
yeah, I mean, I will say I felt one way about it until Ibu informed me that Nikki Cross had been left off Raw, and now I'm starting to waver a little bit, but nonetheless,
In which direction?
No comment. Nonetheless, I will admit I'm still a little bit hesitant to go full victory lap on this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm aware that if you do the mathematical equations, it appears that he is like doomed, because if it's Emanuel's decision, there's not really much going to change there. But even still, it is Vince, and we've seen some crazy things over the many, many years of Vince's time in that company. So I'm a little bit hesitant to go all the way like in that direction. But look, obviously, we have our fun and such, and I'm not here to frame Triple H as being, Eddie Graham by any means, but it's pretty clear the positives that come with his regime, and it's also huge for like taking a gamble on Vince booking you was honestly insane for a while there. Like, even if you think Triple H is not like a great booker, which I think is a fair take, at least you can like sign for the biggest wrestling company without like, without fearing that he's going to turn you into like some sort of cartoon character. He generally doesn't do that. So
No,
yeah.
Joe, that's why like Cody signing when he did like still blows my mind. I'm like, he had crazy guts. You know what I mean?
That was ballsy. Yeah, for sure.
He walked in when like
Vince talked to him, bro. Like Vince immediately presented him like Cena, So
within the previous 6 months of Cody coming there, like Adam Cole was offered to be on the main roster bald as like a manager, and Pete Dunne had been turned into Butch, Riddick Moss had been turned into Madcap Moss, and Corbin was made into Happy Corbin. Both mid-card titles were not on WrestleMania because they weren't deemed important enough. Walter had been turned into Gunther. Vinci left off the main roster when they called him up for whatever reason. Like, Vince was just running amok. He was just doing stuff. It's and like, Cody walked in like, I'll be fine.
I'll survive.
Which is awesome.
Yeah.
Credit to him, man. I mean, like, I paid off in ways that he couldn't obviously have foreseen, but he was already rolling in that direction. It's like, I want wrestlers... We all want great wrestlers in every promotion we can get our eyes on, right? Because the wider their spread, the more place we have to watch.
Yeah.
However, it would be nice if this new era represents a time where if your favorite independent talent signs for the biggest company in the world, you don't have to go, well, I guess I'm going to have to move on to the next guy, because that's where it was for a long time. Like, genuinely, for a long time, it was that way. When guys signed there, even if you were not like a big hater of WWE, you still watched it.
With AEW.
Sorry, Manny, what was that?
He's implying that AEW is now the place where when they sign.
No, it's not, like, honestly, man, it was crazy when people don't realize how bad it was for a while there. So if we can get past that, it would be a lot better for everyone, I think, genuinely.
It was like that for so long that even now that the trend is being turned around a bit, people still kind of have that like averse reaction depending on what side of the fandom you are. Like Dragon Lee signed, and it was like, oh fuck, like we know what they do with Mexico.
And some people just understandably aren't like caught. Like WWE was terrible for a long time. So
and at the end of the day, even
people
though
still turn their nose up at it.
At the end of the day, even though they're trending upwards when it comes to that, and when it comes to signing like these like non WWE traditional types, they still do have to finish the job. Like, for example, Dragon Lee is on the main roster now, which is great. And he's, he was seen on television this week with Rey Mysterio and stuff. And that's all well and good. And we're off to a good start with him. He pinned Austin Theory. But you still do have to finish the job there and, like, give a guy like him or a Kyrie Sane a big moment at a big floor show. And that's like when you really make the big emphatic statement. Moments like that, moments like Chad Gable inevitably beating Gunther at a big show, to kind of illustrate like this is not the same company anymore, and we do value talent, and you will get a chance to get over and be a star here no matter what background you're from and what type of wrestler you are.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be one extreme or the other. Also, like, I've said this to you guys, and we have a lot of fun here with the the Fed stuff, and it'd be like, I'm not sure I'll ever get to a point where I can watch their TV shows front to back, because they have some of their production quirks and the way they do their TV does drive me slightly insane. But I like the fact that I can say, oh, Gunther's wrestling tonight, I'll check that out without thinking it's going to get spoiled by, R-Truth doing something or whatever.
Yes.
And it's like, that's, as a wrestling fan, to me, that's my priority. Like, I can see a Kevin Owens tag get 20 minutes or whatever it may be.
You can wake
as
up
long
now.
As it's that way. Yeah.
You can wake up now the day after a Raw, click on the cage match, and two things get a high 7 and low 8, and it's like, okay, this might make the match guide, and I know for me, prior to like the last year, there was no Raw graphic for a match that could move me in any way, shape, or form, like at all. So yeah.
I should note the chat's right. R-Truth's awesome. That was unfair.
Yeah,
Elias.
he's a comedy character,
Yeah,
you
you
know,
go.
so it's like that was kind of
As
more
soon as
the
I
point
said
he
it, I was like,
making.
"Oh, that was mean." It's R-Truth.
Yeah.
No, but I
people
totally get what you
love
meant,
truth,
though.
man.
You know, I totally get what you meant, bro. Look at it, bro. We were dedicating like copious amounts of television time to Elias's younger brother Ezekiel and him
Right.
feuding with Kevin
Oh,
Owens.
bro, yeah, we don't need to relive all these terrible booking
Veer
decisions.
Mahan.
All of it, bro. All of it. Let's do some super chats and get this cult personality pumping through. But wheelchairs and $5. Hearing Thunder Rosa talk about how happy she is for Jade bringing in WWE. Okay. Sounds like she's trying to get out her deal. How is her standing with AEW?
I don't know how her standing is. I know that the word was that she should be ready to go like a month and a half ago.
It wasn't that long ago.
CM Punk was eagerly awaiting to book her. But no, I don't know where she stands with AEW right now, to be completely honest, and I don't want to recklessly speculate.
Wheelchairs and $5. Vince is going to be really mad when Triple H bring in Japanese women. He's like, "Where's the tall blonde women, pal?"
Well, luckily for Vince, Tiffany Stratton will be called up, and she'll do all right. You know,
she'll do better than all right, brother. Massfan 84 199. Appreciate it. I'm hoping Sting announcement is a TNT challenge.
My God, TNA, brother.
Oh man, yeah, Christian Cage.
Let's get Joe in there too. Fuck it, you know.
Wheelchairs on $5. Any news of Vince mad at Triple H for being the booker, or is Triple H like, "Hey, Dad, it's not my fault"?
I don't know anything about that. I know that there's certain wrestlers Triple H uses that Vince is absolutely averse to.
Money.
Yeah.
So I put it in at the mall so I can at least exercise the team.
There are wrestlers that like Hunter puts on his TV that Vince was just like, none of him going forward, right? And that was the thing. So that's the thing. Like in the spring, a lot of what you were getting on your TV was Triple H, but it was like Triple H like working around the parameters that his father-in-law kind of like implicitly would set for him. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's the thing. Look, the bottom line is this: Vince doesn't see anything in Johnny Gargano as a wrestler. He didn't see anything in JD McDonough. He didn't see anything in Bronson Reed. Saw nothing in Piper Niven. Saw nothing in Karrion Kross. Saw nothing in Candice LeRae. Saw nothing in a number of people. And so a lot of who you were seeing featured heavily were people that they both had to agree on what they saw them as. So like Vince was fine with Kevin Owens and Sammy. He was fine with Cody Rhodes. He the judgment they grew on him. You know, the bloodline, obviously, they make money. And then, you know, heavy dose of Charlotte Flair and that kind of thing. But a lot of the people underneath that top layer were people that he just didn't give a shit about and wanted no parts on his television.
Did you see that shitty DIY shirt that came out today?
The shirt? Oh yeah,
it's pretty bad.
All wrestling merch, fucking.
It's terrible.
This Andre shirt's cool, but
yeah, it's cool.
Joe, it's a black shirt that says in red letters going down vertically DIY.
Like, why can't they just hire people that are good at like doing shit like that? I mean, it can't be that hard,
bro. People have got to get. You know, I ain't gonna say that. Anyway, 7-199. Appreciate you, Joe. Say the thing.
Yeah, he's a good wrestler. Christian Cage.
I'm looking at the chat, guys. Do you guys remember when Survivor Series 2021 was built around an egg?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, bro, why? I said stop bringing back these shitty booking decisions.
Traumatic.
Here he is. Oh, Via. Like, no. I need to talk about that shit. Anyway, Master 84 199.
right?
Tanahashi versus Christian in 2010's Missed Dream match.
Oh, that's different. That's different gravy, that is, mate. That's something else.
He just made Joe Hulbert have a moment with that one.
Don't
Can you
worry.
imagine that, mate? Oh.
I think Christian can still get a good match out of Tana right now.
No. I love him. No.
I will say he was good in that destruction tag, low-key.
Yeah, good.
Okay, bruh, $2. Need Miro versus Gravity for Monty's reaction alone. Brother, I will not.
He just won't watch it. It's
You don't know Monty, bro. He'll just forget him.
See, I get every week in the chat, someone will say something about Gravity. It's like, bro, I have not watched that man wrestle since that
Since
one
then,
time.
yeah.
And Manny with the super chat whilst he's on screen. But 4.99, Monty Joe. When we get in the tracksuit collection vid,
Be a short video that would for me, mate.
I've got some nice trackies. Anyway,
Good.
Have one of the Mother's ones.
Joe just wears shorts all the time, mate.
I do, mate. I do.
DJ, £5, appreciate it. Vince McMahon rolls worst joint ever. Asked to leave World Wrestling Entertainment.
I can confirm that Vince McMahon has smoked weed before. Random fun fact that I
How
have.
recently?
I'm sure he's done it all at some point.
Right, as recently as 2022.
Oh yeah, that explains a lot.
shit.
All right, carry on.
I mean, there's a reason why RVD gave him some rolling paper.
Exactly.
You have it. Scoops the manor. Will Chisholm, $4. So who's not going to be on TV with Triple H holding the pen full of?
Who's not? Most of those people were fired.
Yeah, I was going to say, they're a lot of them are already out of here, brother. So
Yeah. A lot of the people Hunter doesn't care for, they were off TV and they've gotten fired, like the Boogs of the world and the Elias of the world.
all right, people, get any more super chats in while we're going to stay live for the next few minutes, but we need to come through for. Gosh, who was he? Who sent the $30 again?
I can't even remember.
Bro, I feel really bad.
Was
Is
it
he
Bob
even
the
still
Builder?
in here? I think it was Bob the Builder. It was Bob the Builder. We have the $30. I haven't seen him in the live chat, but he knows that we're doing it at the end. So God bless. And we're gonna do it now. Well, Ibu's gonna do it now. He's gonna sing Cult of Personality. How are we gonna do this? Should I just play Ibu?
I was gonna say two options. Either I just sing over this track playing, or I pick a verse and just sing it a cappella.
No, we're not doing a cappella.
We're gonna get copyrighted.
Wait.
We won't get copyrighted if I play it down my speaker and Ibu sings over it and it's not too loud. It just needs to be like loud enough so we knows where he's at in the song. Do you know what I'm saying?
So I gotta sing it along with you playing the song, is what you're saying.
Yeah, you just jump in when you're ready,
Well, to be fair, it wouldn't be punk rock with them if they did that.
This is
good point, Manny.
Can you hear that, by the way?
Yeah, that's the ad.
Okay. How loud is it?
I don't know. Let me get these lyrics up, because these lyrics.
Obviously,
loud,
this is the YouTube.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's not loud, but you can hear it. So you can hear that.
Yeah.
But you can hear like where you would be at if you was about to sing the song.
I think. Play it some more. All right, go backwards, because I gotta get in the zone here. This is gonna fucking suck. Should I go full comedy?
Picture Hulk Hogan singing this song.
You ready? Okay, are you ready?
It starts way too fast. This song is
I'm gonna count you in. Manny's gonna shut up.
Yeah,
and,
shut up,
we're all gonna shut up, and you're gonna sing for us, Ibu. So
do I have to sing the whole fucking thing?
Nah, I'll make you just do like the iconic bits, like I think it's like the first like 45 seconds, a minute,
I kind of want to do can we do the second half of the song?
No.
All right.
No. Anyway. Okay. Listen. You need to be listening. Stop laughing. Stop giggling like a girl. Like a little school girl. Joe's composed himself. Manny's watching Manny's people watching. We're ready for this, Ibu. So compose yourself. Get it together. You know that the song starts really quick, so
way too quick.
Okay. We ready?
I guess.
3, 2, 1.
Look in my eyes. What do you see? The cult of personality. I know your anger. I know your dreams. I've been everything you wanna be. Oh, I'm the cult of personality. like Mussolini and Kennedy. I'm the cult of personality. The cult of personality. The cult of personality.
I'm very disappointed. I thought you were going to do like R&B or
Neon
something like that.
lights, a Nobel Prize when a mirror speaks. The reflection lies. You won't have to follow me. Only you can set me free. I can't, Manny, because he's playing the real track, so I can't add my unique backup Hangman cadence or tone or
All right, that's enough of that.
inflections or ad libs or
All I got was like you yesterday saying you wanted to be like Joe, and you have your
Well,
name.
I can't be Joe if I'm singing along with Living Color.
You didn't put someone. I can't remember who said it now. Someone told you to put some more sauce in it, and you know.
All right, I'll go
Seven.
a cappella then, since fucking.
Oh God. You gonna again?
Not the whole. Let me find a fucking.
This is what we do here at WrestlePurists YouTube channel.
We're having somebody singing in my ears, you know.
You gave me fortune. You gave me fame. You gave me power in your God's name. I'm every person you need to be. Oh, I'm the cult.
What's happening?
You don't know one of the songs, it's the end of the song where he's like,
I know, but like, I don't know why you just burst.
I think you're making up lyrics. I think you
That's
just made up
exactly how it
lyrics.
goes.
Just what the hell are you singing?
The cult.
We all agree and concede that's how it sounds.
That's
Yes.
exactly how it goes.
You win, pal. Hands up.
Yeah,
He really spent 30.
I thought he would have put a bit more bass.
Oh,
Bit
What
more
do you want
passion.
from me?
Tried his
You know,
best. So you can
actually sing. You know, he was kind of just like,
I did sing.
I don't know, man.
I did.
Tough
He
crowd.
was doing spoken word.
Spoken word.
Dan in the chat said 2 1/4.
Couple ratings. We've got a 3 star,
Done.
3 stars, 2 1/4. Dud.
More entertaining than Ishii and Shingo and Ospreay and Will.
Man, I
Shut up.
wouldn't mind, but the delivery was like,
He's not going anymore. He's finished.
kind of like he mumbled through it. It was like fucking 2.75 stars.
Man,
Oh,
man,
I wasn't
like-
mumbling.
Manny has the delivery of like Ronda Rousey on the mic right now. Like it's
He lost that fire, bro. He's got to get back. He's like
Yeah.
Sam Joe in 2012 or some shit. You know, he's got
Let me tell you something, Magnus.
I reckon you may have got like a little 2 star overall. Oh no, you got 3.5. Oh no, you got
Alright.
0.75.
Damn.
Oh, this is a strong one.
Oh.
Yeah, I didn't know
Anyway.
Dave watched that show.
Was it a 6?
Anyway. Anjan PN $2. Appreciate it. Bree loves the game more than Dragon. Oh, hold up.
Well,
Bruh, $2. Monty, how were the ribs from the other day? I forgot to take a picture. I apologise, but they were tremendous. Appreciate the consideration. Bodybuilder, the legend that caused Ibu to sing tonight. $2 Canadian. Appreciate it. Will be better when the WWE crowd starts singing it. Absolutely. Absolutely. Ibu's just not, you know, AO puts more effort into his singing. You know?
I gotta listen to this back.
please don't.
He's gonna.
Leave the memories alone, kid.
it was that brutal, huh?
I mean, it is what it is, bro. You sung on a wrestling podcast for like 2 minutes. I don't know what you wanted us to say.
All right, Manny, you got any words of wisdom before we get out of here? He's thinking.
Don't watch a lot of wrestling on the weekend. I guess. I don't know. You know, They had me sat on Discord yesterday and just watching wrestling. I'm just watching it, just like. Huh, I mean, the astronauts match was good.
Mm-hmm.
You're washed, man. What the fuck?
Bro, I sat there watching Ospreay and Zach, and everybody was going crazy. I'm just like, I mean, it was all right.
Bro, the fellas put on Brett and Austin from WrestleMania 13, and Manny gave it 4.25. It's over. It's so over.
Oh,
Very
man.
unfortunate.
I gave Ishii and Shingo 3.5, and I said they were fake yelling. The yelling wasn't into it.
Oh, hold on.
She did.
Scott, $2.79 Canadian. He's telling us that Chad Gable versus Trick Williams is on for main event.
Not just that, but
I'm
Nathan
laughing.
Frazier's also getting a tryout.
There's bigger fish to fry here with this.
You're
You're
a Jack. You're just a.
Who's even wrestling? You know what we're doing? Wait. Chad Gable and Trick Williams. That's some magic right there.
Yeah, they're gonna, just to give you guys some of a preview, they're gonna start a New Day Alpha Academy program. Along with the announced matches, Kaiser's facing Gargano. Gunther versus the second longest match tonight is going to be Gunther versus Bronson Reed, and you know what, Joe? I'm going to put money down. I'm willing to bet money that'll be good. I genuinely.
I think it'll be good. I'm just intrigued as to how long we're talking, but we'll see.
It's going to be.
It'll be good. It will definitely be good. There's no way that match won't be good.
It's going to be around like 14.
We'll just Manny. This can be.
Actually, I do have something to say.
Oh,
is it about Chris Hero?
Yeah.
Good.
That's what I was going to throw to you anyway.
I was going to suggest that. Yeah.
I'm quite surprised that someone brought it up like this. Like, how did no one talk about Chris Hero coming back? Like it was fucking Hulk Hogan, you know? But nonetheless,
Chris Hero's a true inspiration. You know, I've been telling everybody he's been getting in shape. If you look at the photos for months, I've been saying it, and he's finally back. He's finally coming back on November 17th. I think that's what it is. He's going to be wrestling Timothy Thatcher at the West Coast Pro Hurricane Hall venue that they have in San Francisco. So I'll be there. I don't know how you can watch it because I'm trying to watch it. And if anybody has the DPW link so I can watch the Grizzled Young Vets, because I asked Monty, and Monty never sent me the link yesterday. So if anybody can send it to me, send it to me.
Manny thinking that Monty had a DPW link was so funny.
That was crazy. I still haven't got over that.
I was like, what are you doing?
He posted a screenshot. He got it from somewhere.
The idea of Montgomery pulling up on a Sunday night to watch that show is one of the funniest things ever.
You know what made me laugh, Joe? Because I was like, I know Manny's asking this because he saw Monty's post, thinking that meant Monty was watching. And I'm like, that
doesn't know me, brother.
That's not what happened. Like, that is not what happened.
The Monty I know wouldn't just screen grab it from somebody else's account. You know?
Not in Elon's world, brother.
Anyway, on that note, shout out Chris Hero. Yeah, as always, please like, subscribe. Appreciate all the super chats as always. I very much doubt we'll do tomorrow's show, but we'll definitely be back on Wednesday.
If I knew that, I would have booked my haircut.
Book it.
I'm about to hit up Anthony right now.
I mean, yeah, unless CM Punk shows up on Raw now, then you know what I mean?
Who's doing the weekly Punk tease that's allegedly not a tease and allegedly not intentional?
Corey Graves has already got his notes written now. Anyway, you can get out of here. Gonna watch Raw. Gonna be live tweeting it on the WrestlePurists account. As always, please like, subscribe. Appreciate all the super chats. And thanks for watching. Peace.